ॐ गणानां त्वा गणपतिगुं हवामहे कविं कवीनामुपमश्रवस्तमम् ज्येष्ठराजं ब्रह्मणस्पत नः शृण्वन्नोतिभिः सीदसादनम् प्रणो देवी सरस्वती वाजेभिर्वाजिनीवती धीनामवित्रयवतु गणेशाय नमः सरस्वत्यै नमः श्रीगुरुभ्यो नमः हरिः ओम्।
Offering our humble pranams at the lotus feet of our dearest Bhagawan Baba, respected guest speaker Venkatesh Prasad brother, elders, brothers and sisters of the Sai family, loving Sai Ram to one and all. We welcome you to the 157th edition of the Samarpan, which is an offering of gratitude by the alumni of the Sri Sathya educational institutions. It is our greatest fortune to hear the leelas of the Lord in His immediate presence month over month. Talking of leelas, I am reminded of an incident which happened, this was in the late 50s, early 60s, and Swami's biographer, Kasturi Garu, narrates this in his autobiographical work, Loving God. He says, and this was the time when Sanatana Sarathi was the only monthly magazine which used to talk about Swami's leelas and where Swami used to travel. So one afternoon, Kasturi Garu was standing on the veranda of the press where Sanatana Sarathi was printed. And a gentleman was passing by and he asked Kasturi Garu, are there any books available on Swami? And Kasturi Garu emphatically replied, no, we don't have any books. We just have a monthly newsletter, a magazine. This passerby walked by, he was rather disappointed. This veranda, if you can visualize the old golden sands of Parthi, and people from my generation, we were not fortunate to see that, but Brother Venkatesh and so many elders here would have seen Swami from the first floor of the mandir could witness this scene happening. So having noticed this, he sent for Kasturi Garu and he hurried to his presence, and Swami asked him what was the conversation in the veranda. So he narrated this, Swami, he asked me, are there any books? And Swami replied, said, okay, so what did you respond? He said, there are no books on Swami. Swami said, wrong answer. The right answer is, you should have told him, this Swami cannot be understood through books. Right? So this incident was a intentional divine drama where Swami sowed the seed for the first publication, Satyam Shivam Sundaram, which was released, I believe, in 1960-61. In fact, Swami emphasized this truth. If you remember the historic letter of May 25th, 1947, where Swami, responding to his brother Sheshama Raju, he said, no one can comprehend my glory, whoever he is, whatever his method of inquiry, however long his attempt. In fact, Kasturi Garu in the same book, Loving God, says, an American playwright and screenwriter, those days I believe, Arnold Schulman, he questioned Swami. He was a skeptic. He came from the US and obviously he in fact wrote a book on Swami. He wanted Swami to reveal his truth, and he asked Swami, who are you? Swami in fact replied to him, how can a fish understand the sky? So that was Swami's remark. So in this context, Swami, I think this was in 1960 again, Dasara celebrations, Dasara in those times, if we see those videos, was one of the most grandest festivals in Parthi, and even now. Swami, in his historic discourse there, thousands were gathered, and he exhorted to the devotees, and I'll try in whatever Telugu I can say and translate. Swami said 4 words. He said, Na charitralo meeru cheripovali, meaning become a part of my history. Right? In fact, Brother Venkatesh, who's sitting here, is one of those chosen devotees, students of Swami, who was part of his story, right? Of his story. And we are here to listen to fascinating and very intense emotional experiences of brothers' family with Swami. Interestingly, this was the year 2006. The former President of India and the most loved President in the history of our country, Shri APJ Abdul Kalam Sir, he was the chief guest for the convocation, and he was inaugurating the International Sports Stadium which we see today. And he, in his convocation speech, highlighted Brother Venkatesh as a role model in applying Swami's teachings on human values in his professional life. Brother, when he was the CEO of Trai Impex Private Limited, at that point in time, APJ Abdul Kalam Sir narrated an incident, and in fact, I believe Brother might even touch upon this, where he turned around a loss-making sick unit into a profitable one without laying off any of the staff there. And this was APJ telling, and in fact, Brother told me yesterday that he was not aware of this when the President of India told this. So that's the beauty of Swami's teachings and the impact on devotees and students. It is now my duty to formally introduce Brother Venkatesh. Being the 3rd generation of devotees in his family way back in the late 1960s, Brother Venkatesh Prasad was blessed to be born into an environment where his grandparents basked in the divine physical proximity of Bhagawan. He had his first darshan of Swami at Brindavan in 1978, along with his family. Just less than a decade later, in 1987, he entered the portals of the very same campus as a student of the Sri Sathya Sai Institute of Higher Learning. He completed his BCom at Brindavan and went on to pursue his MBA at Prashanti Nilayam in 1990. During his student days from 1987 to 1992, he was blessed with the opportunity to accompany Bhagawan on his divine journeys to Kodaikanal and Ooty. Brother Venkatesh professionally brings with him over 35 years of leadership experience, spanning diverse sectors including textiles, automotive, engineering, FMCG and microfinance, and has held key positions in esteemed organizations across India and Asia. He is presently based in Bangalore and is an independent management consultant. In addition, he serves as a visiting lecturer in the Department of Management and Commerce, Brindavan, in Swami's University, continuing his association with Swami and the Institute, which has shaped his very early years. Let us now soak in the bliss of Swami's leelas and brothers' experiences. Over to Brother Venkatesh. Sai Ram.
Sai Ram. Offering my humble pranams at the lotus feet of beloved Mother Sai, respected elders, brothers, sisters. Just continuing on what Parikshit just mentioned when he spoke about leelas of Swami, I am just reminded as I was seated there, incident which is narrated in Shri Sai Satcharita. In Shri Sai Satcharita, Hemant Pant, who has composed that book, who has written that book, compiled the book, here there is a scene in the book where he is seen discussing with other devotees about Shri Baba's leelas. and then they hear the afternoon Aarati bell ringing in Dwarkamai. So they hurry there and they participate in the Aarati. And after the Aarati is over, Hemant Pant puts this forth to Shirdi Baba. He says, we cannot do meditation, we cannot sit and do any other great austerities and any other jap, tap, nothing is possible. What we can do as your devotees is only to sing your leelas and to discuss your leelas. So Shirdi Baba accepts that as a sadhana by itself. So just to reiterate what Parikshit said here, that with Swami also, discussing Swami's leelas and living Swami's, remembering all these leelas by itself becomes a sadhana. Dharmakshetra, standing here, for me, it's with all humility I again offer my pranams to Swami, because this is the historic grounds where Swami declared in 1968 that this avatar has not come to establish any new religion, caste or creed or anything like that, but for the revival of Vedic heritage of this land. And the battlefield of Kurukshetra, which is there outside, should get transformed into an inner field of Dharmakshetra, trying to touch upon the why this place is named as Dharmakshetra. So to be present here in the place where Swami has taken certain major decisions in his avataric mission, really it is a great fortune for me. And also Swami had a very, very deep connect with Mumbai as a city. Swami used to tell us many times, see, in a human body, if the stomach is not in order, the body will not be at ease and the mind will not be at peace. Similarly, in the body of Bharat, Mumbai is the stomach. So Mumbai needs to be in order for Bharat to be in order. So this is how Swami used to talk in those days. I thought I'll just get started with one of the main points. Swami used to talk about the bond between the God and his devotees. Swami has narrated to our students many, many times this incident. Swami used to talk about Bhagavan Shri Krishna and Radha. Swami used to say that Radha used to constantly remember Krishna, and as a result, Krishna used to constantly remember Radha. Now here, saying that, Swami used to say, there is a contractual relationship between the God and the devotee. The relationship or the contract between the God and devotee is this, that the number of times you remember or you relate to God, God has to immediately remember you and relate to you. So, going by this contract, the more Radha remembered Krishna, more Krishna remembered Radha. So, Swami said, Yad Bhavam Tad Bhavati. Because of going on remembering Krishna, Radha became Krishna, and because of going on remembering Radha, Krishna became Radha. So, Swami used to say, who becomes more powerful here? Obviously, Radha. She has the upper hand on Krishna. So, this is how the relationship between the God and the devotee is how it is built, is how Swami used to explain to us students in those days. I happened to attend an international regional conference. I used to live in Singapore some 26 years back. So at that time a regional conference was conducted in Singapore where participants and very senior devotees from Malaysia, Indonesia, Singapore, Australia, they all gathered in Singapore and we had a 2-day conference. Some dignitaries from India also had come at that point of time. So the conference was going on. The Sai youth who were there at that venue there, one of the youth raised this question to one of a very seasoned old Sai devotee who hails from that region. He raised this question, there is a dichotomy that I face in my life, he said, which we all have gone through this statement. So, and he narrated what is the dichotomy. The dichotomy, he said, was, there are two statements which we come across in spirituality in our life. The statements are like this. God is the eternal witness. Statement 1. Statement number 2. Not even a blade of grass moves without God's will. On the face of it, how can God be an eternal witness? At the same time, nothing can move without His will. So he said, I am a bit confused with this statement. So the speaker wonderfully So this not even a blade of grass comes from Bible actually. So he said, let alone the blade of grass. He started like this, I still remember. He quoted a verse from ancient Tamil scripture, which goes back to 6,000 years back. He said, forget about a blade of grass. Not even an atom can move without his will. Why blade of grass? And saying that, he explained it with a beautiful example. He didn't try to answer the question directly. He gave this answer. But I have gone back to this time and again. I hope you will be able to derive some lessons from this. What he went about saying this was this. He said, he took the example of Malaysia. He said, in Malaysia, if you were to have more than 20 grams of the contraband or the illegal stuff, the penalty is death. No, this is a well accepted law in Malaysia. He said, he gave a context. Just imagine if the Prime Minister of Malaysia were to move in his limousine, he is heading towards the airport. On the way, he sees 2-3 people standing by the roadside and having, forget 20 grams, they are having 100 grams or even, let's say, 1 kg of the forbidden material. What do you think he will do? Is he going to get down from the car and accost these people directly? He will never do that. He will continue his way. The job of taking them to task belongs to the law enforcement authorities and the police who come behind. It is for them to take charge of the situation and give them the penalty and give the punishment. Saying that, he said, now you understand how God is the eternal witness and not even a blade of grass or not even an atom moves without his will. I had the first opportunity, as it was mentioned, to come to Swami in 1978. In a physical way, I could see Swami for the first time. As mentioned, the only God I have worshipped right from my birth has been Swami, and Swami has been part of my life right from my birth. But series of miracles, series of things happened in our family in the early 70s. My grandfather actually is a Shirdi Baba devotee, right from 30s. He still lives, he stays in Prashanti Nilayam, he is 98 years old. So he was an ardent Shirdi Baba devotee throughout his life, and he got drawn into Swami somewhere in 1960s. But a lot of miracles happened. So many, and my uncle visited Swami in 1975, and he was part of the Sevadal who served Swami's 50th birthday in Prashanti Nilayam. And there was a near death was averted in the family, and some surgeries Swami performed in the dream and vision and cured people in the family. So many things happened. So my grandfather decided that we will go and have Swami's darshan together as a family. And that's how we landed up in Brindavan, August 15th, Independence Day, 1978. The hostel building had been completed by then, what you see in Brindavan. And we had a beautiful darshan of Swami. And then my father, who was alive then, he held my hand. I was studying in my school, must be in my 4th standard or something. He took me, walked me up to the hostel. We entered the hostel, Brindavan hostel. We stood and looked at the Krishna statue, which is there in the quadrangle. And one of the students who was studying there at that point of time, he was standing there. My father spoke to him. He was very much impressed with the place and the environment. He told me then and there that you should come and study here for your college. This he said in 1978, and sure enough in 1987 I came there within a matter of 9 years. But unfortunately he was not there to see me join as a Swami student. Now I had a dilemma when I applied for as a student. Now, since our family is a Sai family, there used to be people participating in medical camps, Nagar Sangeetans, bhajans, you say it, Bal Vikas classes, every member in their own way of participating. I was a typical rebel. While I prayed to Swami, I was not too active in all these activities. Where I liked, I went, but I was never regular in any of these activities. But I was there in the periphery with the family. So when the time came for me to apply for the institute, and I did the application, came and attended the interview and everything, I was having apprehension that will Swami select me, or am I fit enough to be a Sai student? So this thought was there in my mind. So fearing the worst, I told my grandfather, I am not going to come to see the result in Prashanti Nilayam. Those days, nothing was online. You have to come. The results will be pasted outside the South Indian canteen. on the notice board, and you get to know for yourself whether you're selected or not, or it will be there in the institute, the boys' institute, the list will be pasted. So my grandfather agreed. So he went for Parthi ahead of time to wait for the results to be declared. So while I was there at home, that day night, after my grandfather left, I had a beautiful dream of Swami. I found myself standing under a tree, and there was a gate which was closed in front of me. The gate opened, and hundreds of students wearing white and white came out. They came out and they passed me and kept going. And Swami came in the rear after they passed, and he came straight to me and looked at me and said, I have given you admission, come to Parthi. And then Swami gave me Padamaskar, blessed me. So next day morning I got up, bid goodbye to everybody in the family. They were surprised because results were not yet declared. I said, no, I have got the answer. I came to Prashanti Nilayam, and sure enough I was selected. I joined as a Sai student. So my journey began with Swami. With Swami, we all know that he suffered a fall somewhere in 2005. The first fall he suffered in Brindavan, and he underwent an operation. If you were to see the discourses which he gave, there was a common thread which was there in all the discourses which he gave after 2005. You can see one statement getting repeated again and again in many of his discourses. He kept saying, Dehabhimanam taginchu, Atmabhimanam penchu. Reduce your body's consciousness, increase your Atmic consciousness. You can go back to the discourses from 2005. You can see that Swami started giving indications right from 2005. Unfortunately, the entire Sai family across the globe could not take the cue from it, and when the time did come for Swami to give up his physical frame, the entire Sai family was not prepared for it. We went through our own upheavals, ups and downs, so many confusions, and we are where we are today. But Swami beautifully explained this scenario to me as a student when I was there in Brindavan. This is what happened. Brindavan, actually, the students had a very prime time with Swami whenever he was there. And Swami used to spend almost 1 hour with us in the morning, before he went out for giving darshan to devotees. Again in the evening, he'll spend almost 45 minutes for bhajan with us with very few devotees. And then thereafter inside Trai Brindavan, we used to spend 1.5 hours, 2 hours. There have been days where I remember we have entered Trai Brindavan 5 in the evening, and we have sat with Swami till 8:15 in the night. Unimaginable anywhere else on earth. But there in Trai, we have had those kind of experiences. And one of the rules very strictly enforced by Swami himself was absolute silence when you are there waiting for Swami's darshan inside the Trai lawns when you go and sit there. When I say silence, let alone talking, even movement of your head, left or right, or even your eyeballs, this side, that side, will get you reprimand straight from Swami. Forget about authorities. I have been a recipient of Swami's this stern message multiple times. So this was something which we all followed very rigorously. So one day morning for darshan, I found myself sitting right outside Swami's main door, Trai door. And the habit was, Swami at 8, he'll open the door himself and he'll step out of Trai. So if you are the first person in the line, you get Swami's look as soon as he opens the door. So one day I was lucky I was there. Let's say 0.1. I was there at that spot. So after a few minutes waiting for Swami's session, I found one uncle. He came and sat next to me, which is not normally done where students sit. It's not like now. Even though they're VIPs or senior devotees, they will not come and sit with students because the prime place is given to students. Now this uncle was very different. He hails from Bombay. I am not going to take his name. He had surrendered all his wealth, whatever he had in Bombay, to Swami, and he was staying there. And Swami used to call him as my Hanuman. His really devotion to Swami was something very different. And so he came and sat next to me. And very soon he just asked me, how does Swami know everything? He asked me. Now I was a bit reluctant. As I told you, you can't be talking, waiting for Swami's darshan. And when I know that Swami is going to come out any moment, And I didn't want to be getting in the wrong, in a very wrong position when Swami comes. So I didn't answer him. He repeated, how does Swami know everything? Now I realized that this uncle is relentless, he is not leaving me. So without looking at him, without turning my ear there, I just opened my mouth and just said, Swami is Antaryami, I told him. I thought I closed the subject, but he went on. That is what Swami tells us. You tell me how Swami knows. No, I thought if Swami is Antaryami, answer is given. He said, no, that's what Swami tells us. You tell me how Swami knows everything. Now, since it was not going in the direction which I wanted, I took an easy way out. I told uncle, I don't know, you only tell. I thought when Swami comes, let him keep talking. At least I am not in the receiving end. So I sat, I thought my job is done. But I didn't realize it was the greatest mercy of my beloved Mother Sai on me on the day. This uncle kept going further. He said, if an ant bites your feet, how do you know? He asked me. I told him it's my feet. I know. Okay. Have you seen in Indian household, there is a picture of Vishnu with 10 heads on the right, 10 heads on the left, with a Kalpataru in his chest, a Kamadhenu in his tummy. Have you seen that? I immediately visualized the ISKCON picture of Virat Swarup of Krishna. I said, yes, I have seen. You think that person who drew it let his imagination run wild and drew whatever he wanted? I said, I don't think so, uncle. I told. He said, that what is shown is the Virat Swarup. Now, he said, beta, he continued in a very, very wonderful tone. He said, beta, as much as you know ant bites your feet, the entire cosmos, entire Brahmand is contained in the Lord. So, it is but natural for him to know everything. I am telling you, I was stunned because it is not a simple English statement he made. Here was a gentleman, a Sai devotee who would have spent 30-40 years doing Nam Jap and prayers to come to this understanding by himself. And Swami's mercy, he put it in a capsule and gave it to me. And the beauty of it was, the moment he said, something clicked open in my mind. I don't know, I am not able to explain to you. My entire perspective changed. I will put it in this way. I am not playing with English words, I am putting it this way. It is one thing to say, Swami is everywhere. Right from childhood, we are taught. Hiranyakashipu asks Prahlada, is your Narayana there everywhere? Prahlada says, yes. Is he there in this, in a pillar? He says, yes, why not? He is there everywhere. And out comes Narsimha Avatar. And we know the story. So, Swami is everywhere. It is one way of understanding. But the way this uncle told, just reverse the scene. Everywhere is in Swami. There is no further discussion after that. It's one thing to say Swami is everywhere, you try to look Swami here, there. But if you say everywhere is in Swami, where is the question for you to look everywhere, here and there? Everything is in Swami. And then immediately the words which Swami used to tell us inside Trai, Swami used to tell us, don't say, Swami, you are in me. That is a sign of ego. Say, you are in Swami. Swami used to tell us. So it gelled with what this uncle was saying. And again I remembered the statement which comes in Narayan Suktam. Antar Bahishcha Tat Sarva Vyapya Narayana Stitaha. The Lord Narayana permeates the universe inside out. So it was such a revealing moment. The moment these thoughts came to my mind, I was like a bulb switching on in my mind. The door of Trai opened, tuck. Swami walked out, straight came to me, gave me Padanamaskar, touched my head, blessed me, went to the uncle, gave Padanamaskar, touched the uncle's head, and went out for darshan. So this was a very beautiful way Swami explained what is omnipresence, what is meant by Antaryami. And when you understand, try to understand that Swami is not limited to the physical form, what you see, for which we all were craving and missed it after Swami gave up the physical form. Okay, after this, okay, we know this, but how do we know? We come we sit in Dharmakshetra, we go to any Sai center, we attend bhajans, we attend study circles, we do so many spiritual activities, sadhana activities. How do we know Swami listens to us? It's okay, I'm doing, but is Swami listening to it? Again, Swami kept me as a poster boy to communicate. In amongst various activities a Sai student has to go through is to attend Suprabhatam in the hostel. Now, it is one of the most difficult tasks any teenager will face, especially if you're studying in a campus like Brindavan 1980s. The Bangalore and Brindavan today are very different from Bangalore and Brindavan 1980s. If Bangalore had an eternal temperature of 17 degrees, 18 degrees, Brindavan had at 14 or 13. And in those days, we didn't have temperature measuring instruments. I am sure it would have been sub 10 or 8 in those days in Brindavan in November, December. Imagine waking up in that cold weather and going and chanting Omkaram and Suprabhatam. It was beyond vast majority of teenagers. I was one among them. So Swami decided to correct this situation and put me onto the track. So one day Swami in Brindavan, he came, he asked, "Are boys going for Suprabhatam?" I was sitting very peacefully somewhere in the 4th row or 5th row, nowhere in the front. Swami asked, so there was a pin drop silence in the room. Obviously many fellows were not going. So then Swami searched, he spotted me in the 5th row. "Are you going?" he asked me. Now I was stunned, I was not prepared. The direct question, I folded my hands, I didn't know what to say. I had that much experience with Swami to know that you can't bluff Swami, nor can you tell that you're doing something when you're not doing. So I folded my hands, hoping that the question will pass to somebody on the right or left. But Swami was relentless. "Cheppu, are you going?" Now I was in a dilemma. I thought Swami will let me. He didn't. He asked my warden, who was sitting way back. Swami asked, "Is this boy going?" Now the warden seated where he was trying to see which boy Swami is saying. He was trying to crane his neck and everything. Now Swami did the most unthinkable thing. I have been subjected to this treatment by Swami many times. Everybody knows that Swami is a very loving mother and how loving he is, but less is said about how stern a father he is also. And if he decides to correct you, then only he can save you from his own command. It is like this, since Parikshit spoke about loving God, Professor Kasturi Gauru always says, being subjected to this treatment by Swami is like somebody opening a book, tearing a piece of paper from the book, crumpling it and throwing it in the dustbin. That is the effect it has when Swami treats you like this. This is the way you feel with your ego, your self-worth and everything. So Swami did the unthinkable. Swami said, "Stand up." Imagine my entire contemporaries, my classmates, my seniors, my juniors, all the devotees, everybody is sitting there. Swami is asking me to get up to answer this question if I am going to Suprabhatam. I got up. Then Swami pointed me to warden. I am asking about this boy. Is he going? To my bad luck that day, my warden told Swami, "Yes, Swami, he goes to Suprabhatam." Now, this put me in further difficult situation. Now, Swami said, "Avuna," in Telugu, asked, "Is it? Nu Chepura, are you going?" Now, by then, tears started flowing. I didn't know, because I can't tell Swami I am going. I can't say I am not going because my warden was standing behind and I have to go and face him. At least Swami I am facing for 1 or 2 hours in the Brindavan. My warden I have to face him throughout the day. So I can't put him down in front of Swami. So very, very difficult situation. The tears came down like stream from my eyes, but Swami didn't leave. And he went further one step. His mother stands in front of my photo 24 hours and keeps saying, and he imitated my mother's voice, saying, "Swami, daya karo, kripa karo, daya karo, kripa karo." And this Dunnapota, Swami used to refer to us in Telugu. Dunnapota means he buffalo, that's lovingly Swami will talk to us like that. So he said, this Dunnapota is not even going to Suprabhatam. And then Swami did another unthinkable day that day. He told my warden, "I want this boy to go for Suprabhatam." It was a command, divine command. He said, "I want him to go." So my life changed after that day because the authorities in the hostel were behind me. They didn't leave me till, forget about 5:30 Supravadam, till I was there at 5 in the morning, half an hour before Supravadam, I was not left. So that was one part of the story. But the other part, my entire anger turned towards my mother. So I accosted her. What is your problem? Why are you standing and praying in front of Swami's photo? She was shocked. Why? She asked. You are going on telling Swami, Daya Karo, Kripa Karo, and Swami is making me a poster by hundreds of students in the hostel, but only I am being pulled up by Swami. You please stop praying. But it had an opposite effect on my mother. For her, it was a direct confirmation that Swami listens to prayers. And that too, she was praying only for me. So through me himself, Swami has sent. So she doubled her prayers. And the attention I got from Swami doubled the next few years. So this is how Swami proves. Swami used to always tell us, don't pray to God as a picture, but pray to the picture as God. Treat the picture as God and don't treat God as picture. So this is how Swami confirmed, Swami listens. Now quickly moving on to certain instructions Swami gives. And we from our generation, being at that age, it took time for us to listen to it, but then how Swami lovingly corrected. I'll just give few instances. The first instance was, few of us, we had an opportunity, we were part of the stores which we are running for both for devotees and students. So Swami used to come and visit the stores and spend time with us, hardly 5-6 of us. So Swami once came to stores, he was seated there and he started talking to me. He said, why are you always running behind friends? Swami asked me. So I didn't have any answer. I looked at Swami. Swami said, all your friends keep saying hello, hello, but their heart is hollow. Swami is your true friend. Have only Swami as your friend. Straight, no ambiguity, point to point, in front of my face, Swami told. Okay, now for a teenager living in a hostel, Sathya Sai hostel, what are we going to do? We live with brothers of the same age, morning till night. If Swami says don't have friends means what? I mean, you can't be a loner. But anyway, I took the cue from Swami's thing. One step I did was to cut off my emotional attachment. It was a very major turning point for me. It's very difficult, all of us having gone through a teenage, at that age to disconnect the emotional bond we have with friends, but still maintained my relationship with my friends. But it was only 50% of Swami's instruction I was following. So Swami decided to correct that. Again, one more session. When there was an opportunity, Swami suddenly asked, he searched for me, he said, gang of 5. Swami scolded me. So actually we were a group of 5 boys. We lived in different rooms, but we were very close with each other. We used to eat our breakfast, lunch and dinner together. We used to sleep together in the terrace because we were from different rooms. The only place we could sleep together was the terrace. So in that cold weather in Brindavan, when the temperature was hovering at 10 degrees, 11 degrees, we used to go and sleep in the terrace till the bed was wet with dew. And we'll come back to room at 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock. So, and only topic we had was what? Cricket, Sunil Gavaskar in those days, in 1980s, Gavaskar, Kapil Dev, or the food in the hostel. Or Ramayana serial was being telecast that time. So talking about Ramayana and everything. These were the very harmless pursuits of students. But Swami, gang of 5, always together. Bad boys. So the other 4 who were seated there also, they were escaped because Swami didn't mention their name. Again, he made me as a poster boy and communicated the message. So relentlessly have relationship with Swami, but with everybody else, you do not go beyond a step. Swami taught when one was not even 17 years old. Another instruction which was very life-changing again. My mother was a teacher in Ooty, Swami school in Nandanamadam. She was a teacher, she used to teach Hindi there. Me and my younger brother, we went to Ooty. Swami had come there for a trip and we went there to Ooty. And Ooty in those days, in 80s, hardly 100-150 people will be there for darshan. Swami has come, but 100-150 people. And it was very, very personal, very very close darshans we used to have in those days. So Me and my brother were seated for darshan. Swami came out, he spoke to us and he went in. So everybody dispersed after the morning darshan. So we both were waiting for my mother to come inside because she was living inside, the Swami's building, the school, Nandaranam, where Swami stays. So we waited for 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 15 minutes, half an hour, 1 hour. My mother didn't come. So we both were standing out. After 1 hour, my mother came. I asked, where were you? We both were waiting here. She said, no, Swami was talking to me. Now, instead of feeling happy in all my naiveness, I got very angry with my mother. I said, what is this? Your sons, both of you are waiting here. You are standing and talking to Swami for 1 hour. Shouldn't you have told Swami that my children are waiting, I'll call them also in? Even we would have got an opportunity with Swami. You are sitting and talking to Swami and we both are standing outside. How can you do this to us? My mother was very calm, casual, because her relationship with Swami was like that. She just saw Swami coming out from the door from Ooty school. She said, see, Swami is going, you go, Swami will talk. It was as easy as that in those days. It's very difficult for anybody to visualize. No sevadals to block you, no security to block you. Swami just came out of the building, he was walking. My mother said, go, Swami will talk. So me and my brother, respectful distance, we are walking behind Swami. And my mother added for good measure, Swami is attending a marriage which is there. In Ooty, that building in those days, there used to be steps which go down. There's a huge ground for children to play. A corner of the ground was a small Kalyan Mandap. So there was some marriage there of the local people of Ooty, the natives of Ooty, Nilgiris. Swami was going. You just see the scene. Swami is going to attend the marriage. Nobody from the marriage ceremony is coming to receive Swami also or take Swami. Because for them, Swami is member of their family. They have told Swami, Swami will come. And for Swami also, he didn't expect somebody to come with him till the thing. He also started walking. So we just followed Swami. Swami got down the staircase, went into the Kalyan Mandap. I didn't get down the staircase. It's a steep descent, some 15-20 steps. And quite high steps also. No railings on the side. So Swami went down. So I thought if Swami has gone in, he'll surely come back. So I stayed at the top of the steps. Sure enough, after 10 minutes, Swami came. He looked at me from down. I was standing at the top of the steps and my brother was on the side, covered by the trees. So Swami looked at me and then started climbing. He held his robe with his right hand because he has to keep his foot up on the steps. So you can imagine the scene. Swami was lifting his robe with his right hand. With the left hand, he was waving his hand and he kept climbing steps, coming up step by step towards me. So I was right on the top. The last 3 steps, Swami looked at me, kept on looking at me. He came and suddenly extended his hand with which he was holding his robe. He suddenly extended his hand. So instinctively I showed my palm. So out came from Swami's hand a laddu and Swami exactly broke it into half. Half a laddu came and landed in my palm. Then he asked me, where is your brother? I said, Swami is standing behind you. He turned, he gave the other half to my brother, and as he gave me the laddu, he told me, don't go in a bike. Don't go in bike. Okay, Swami. I was so happy. Swami looked at me, laddu is in my hand. I said, fine. He turned to give to my brother. He gave to my brother. Again, from there he turned his head and said, don't go in bike. I said, okay, Swami. Swami took 2 steps. I instinctively put the laddu in my mouth and I was watching Swami. He immediately turned. Now he was a Shiva Shakti Swarupa. Hey, he said, don't go in bike. Now 3rd time he said, I literally gulped the laddu which was in my mouth. I said, okay, Swami. I said, so my message was very clear. 3 times. So I was very clear, very strict. No bike, no sitting with anybody, everything. The holidays were getting over and then we had to visit our extended family. They live in Chennai, in Tamil Nadu. So we went there. Typical Indian family, 40-50 members gathered together, ladies in one side, gents other side, cousins playing cricket, all going on. I was in the midst of a game and I was going to come back to Brindavan in another 2 days. Suddenly one of the student who studies in Brindavan with me, he came there. He is a native of Chennai. I don't live in Chennai. So he knew that I was coming there. He came to meet me. He spent 5-10 minutes with me. He said, my parents will be very happy to see you. Why don't you come home? I said, I have to tell my mother. She is busy with her relatives. He said, no, nothing will happen before your mother notices, you can come back. Okay, I went out. He had come in a bike. I sat on the bike. Something was jarring in my mind. Something is not matching. I sat on the bike. Our house was in the dead end, the relative's house, of a lane, small lane. From the lane, the bike came out, turned onto the main road. A lot of traffic. So when the bike turned onto the main road, Swami's face came in front of my eyes. The third warning which he gave. Immediately, the moment the thought came to my mind, the bike stopped on the spot. Anybody who's used to a car or a bike, you will understand, even if something happens, it will continue in the motion. Even if the tire bursts also, it will go for few yards. And even if the engine falters, it is a splutter, but you will move. But this was abrupt stop, as if somebody catches hold of it, with one hand and pulls it back. I just jumped out of the bike. I didn't even bid goodbye to a friend. I ran back home. Luckily, nobody had missed my presence, so I continued. I forgot about it. I came back after holidays. First day, Swami pulled me, took us for an interview. Swami held his hand and caught hold of my hand. So I was also feeling happy. Swami is holding my hand. Then Swami asked me, I told you not to go in bike. Why did you go? Now I was getting panicky. The scene was now today it looks like comedy. I was trying my best to extricate my hand from Swami's hand. And Swami was holding it in an iron grip in his hand and saying, why did you go in a bike? And I was all the while struggling to pull my hand out. After some time, Swami realized he will not leave. So he pulled my hand on his throne, on the handle of his throne, the side arm. He put my hand, he literally dragged it like this and put his hand onto my hand. He kept his hand like that on top of my hand. So that I can't even, I'm imprisoned. It's Swami there. Now you tell me, why did you go in bike? So I didn't know how to respond. Swami said, I saved you. You would have died that day. You didn't listen to my words, you would have died. Swami saved you. Do you know that? So it was a very, very shocking thing for me. Then I realized, okay, every word has to be followed, every word has to be taken note of. Third one was a little bit humorous, but again it was not for me at that time. One of the instructions Swami gave me was, even when I was studying in Prashanti Nilayam, not to go home for holidays. Very simple instruction. But the problem for me was, my home was in Prashanti Nilayam, inside ashram. Imagine staying in hostel, my grandparents and mother living inside ashram. Swami's instruction was strict that I should not go home in the ashram, but I should stay in hostel. The same rule did not apply to my younger brother. Swami told the authorities, he is a fatherless child, he will miss his mother, let him go whenever he wants home and eat. So my brother took it as a license throughout the year. He lived in hostel, but he ate food in house. So, having gone through so many cycles with Swami, I thought one cannot question all this thing to Swami, so I was staying. A festival came. My grandmother who was alive that day, at that time, after darshan, when I came in the morning, came to Ganesha, the Vigraha, Ganesha shed those days. She said, today is a festival, I made your favorite sweet. You come, you have sweet and go. I said, Swami has told me not to come home. She interpreted, Swami has told you not to come and stay at home. Swami has not told you not to come home for a festival and have a sweet. So you come home. So that was a very good persuasion. So you don't need a second invitation for eating sweet at home. So I said, let me ask my warden. I went to a warden, a human being. I was instructed by a divine being. I went to a human being and told him, sir, I'm going home. My grandfather is calling for a festival. But added, I'll be back to hostel for lunch. He said, okay, no problem. Go and come. It was holidays time. So I went home. The sweet extended as a dosa eating session. My grandmother was standing and making dosa. I sat down on the floor with a plate. She started serving me dosas. So you can imagine at that age, I had 1, 2, 3, 4 with the chutneys and everything. I had a very sumptuous meal. I said, bid goodbye to her, went. I came evening for darshan. I was seated right in the first row because holidays nobody was there. I was in the first row with all the few students and VIPs and other devotees there. So Swami finished interview and came. He was smiling, looking around everywhere. Then he looked at me. I have told you not to stay in home, right? Swami asked me. In a very rightful, indignant tone, I told Swami, I am staying in hostel. I am not staying at home. So communicating my angst that I have been forced to stay in hostel when the entire world goes home. Swami said, is it? Then who is the fellow who went today morning? He mentioned our house number. Our house is in South Prashanti, just behind Mandir. To such and such a house, sat down on the floor. Grandmother is standing and making dosas. Swami said how many dosas I had, what chutney I had. Who did all these things, sir? You can imagine my embarrassment. I was turning from white to red to pink and the entire portico laughing at me. Swami said, who went? So I thought, my God, forget about staying. Even going home for having a session is beyond going against Swami's words. Then Swami told in a tone only I can understand. For others, it was a very smiling conversation, but Swami gritted his teeth and told me, when Swami tells you not to do something, you are not supposed to do. I said, okay, Swami, I took Padamskar. So, simple way, it was drilled into your mind. Swami is Antaryami, is there everywhere. You have to listen to it. Another instruction which was given was, don't watch TV and movies when you go home. Okay, simple enough. You don't watch movies and TVs. So, I went after my holidays. Swami asked me, did you watch movies? I said, no, Swami. But you went to so-and-so's house. Actually, I had gone to a relative's house. It was on the first floor. Swami said, yes, Swami, first floor. When you went and sat there, the TV was on in their house. Now I looked at Swami. My house, I can switch off the TV. I go to relatives' house to meet them. How do I tell them you switch off your TV because I have come to your house? So I looked at Swami. How do I handle this kind of situation? When Swami said, Enduku, was the TV on that day? I said, yes, Swami. So I was thinking, what is the solution for it? But it took me some years to understand what Swami is saying. The lesson I learned from this question and that answer, and the question of Swami is, you have to learn the art of seeing but yet not seeing, hearing but yet not hearing, talking but yet not talking. The sense, you should know where to switch off your mind, carry on with your work. Hands in the society and heads in the forest, Swami says. So even if a TV is on, the issue is not about TV being on, is your attention getting diverted there? So now that becomes very important in 2026. So many social media, so many things, YouTube shorts, this, that. Imagine if one were to give attention for everything, see everything, our mind will be a cacophony. We can't have any peace of mind. We can't pray. We can't do any meditation, any silent sitting. So this Swami taught in those days, indirectly. So this was one lesson. Again, in terms of TV itself, another instance, another place, this was again a very important lesson. Entire family was sitting and watching TV. I took the easy way out, came out, was reading some book. So one of the family where we went were not Sai devotees, they're non-Sai devotees. So the uncle there, out of his goodwill, he came out, he saw entire family sitting inside together. Why are you sitting alone? He thought something is wrong with me. A youngster, teenager, why should you be loner? Why? You don't like the movie, I'll change the movie. You don't like this language, I'll change the language. You tell me what you want. I said, no, not like that. Why? I don't want to watch movie, he said. Why do you want to watch a movie, he asked me. I told him, Swami has told me not to watch. Sai Baba has told you this? He told me, as Sai Baba. So, okay, he left me, he didn't pursue. I came back. Now again, I was pulled up by Swami. Swami recollected this incident. So I was very happy. I thought Swami is going to acknowledge that I have told, that Swami has told me not to see, I am not seeing. So Swami asked, did you go? Yes. You spoke to your uncle? Yes. What did your uncle ask? Yes, Swami. So what did you say? I said, Swami has told me not to see, that's why I didn't see, Swami. I was not seeing. So I emphasized that line. Swami said, Enduku, why did you say like that? Oh, I was taken by surprise. Why did you say like that? Then I looked at Swami, then what am I supposed to say? Swami, what he said was a lesson of a lifetime. Swami said, why did you say Sai Baba asked you not to see the TV? Enduku? You say you don't want to see because you don't want to see. You are not seeing because you don't want to see. Have that self-confidence and faith. Why you use Sai Baba's name? I say, Vareva Swami, I have to follow your words. We have to be meticulous. At the same time, say that it is my own will with which I am doing. But truth is that unless until we are convinced for ourselves, how much our Swami tells, we will never listen. So my own life, I have narrated incidents. I never listened so easily. Unless I got convinced, I was not listening. So the lesson was, when we read something about Swami, hear something about Swami, or we take listen to any discourse of Swami, we have to first internalize and be convinced, and we have to follow it with our own command, with our own will and wish. So this was another wonderful lesson. Now moving on, while doing MBA, I had to do a project. Now this project, once you finish the project, you have a Viva OC. I think you all know what's a Viva OC, where you are evaluated for what you have done and you are given a grade. I chose a topic which was on an act. It was called MRTP Act. And I slogged out 3-4 months, everything done. And the evaluation team came to Prashanti Nilayam when we were doing MBA. The entire class went through the grind of going through the evaluation. Nobody came out with flying colors because everybody was squeezed. So my name starts with V, Venkatesh Prasad. So I came on the last day. So they are all thinking, okay, I'll be getting exclusive attention of this evaluation company, because on the last day only 2 or 3 of us were there. So they were sure these guys are going to get the best treatment. So on the day of my evaluation, in the morning in the hostel, I got up. Newspapers will be kept right at the entrance with the room number written. So whichever is your room number paper, you pick up and go. So I came to the entrance to pick up the paper. I was shocked. The headlines was, the MRTP Act was scrapped. The previous day, Narasimha Rao government had scrapped the MRTP Act. I literally didn't know what to do. 4 months I worked on a project and I made my paper ready, and these people have scrapped it just one day before my YOC. I was wishing if they had done it tomorrow, I would have finished my YOC today. I didn't know what's going to happen. 4 more months I have to slog out because we are in the second year. So only thing we knew in those days was rushed in, had a bath, ran to Mandir for darshan. Luckily for me, Swami had not come for darshan. It was 7 in the morning. I went and sat right in the first row. Normally we won't go for morning darshan, those who are staying in Prashanti Nilayam. So Swami opened the door, came. I was sitting, the only boy sitting in the portico. Swami came. I got up to pour out my tale of woe. Swami didn't even allow me to open my mouth. He came straight, put his right hand on my left shoulder. He patted me on my shoulder and told, I am giving you Viva. You go and do Viva. Swami said. Swami played. Viva, as you know, I don't know if current generation know, it's a health drink like Horlicks, Bonita, Boost, Viva. And Swami somehow liked this word Viva always. In many times Swami will say, for energy, Viva. Swami used to talk in the course of our informal discussion, not in public discourses. So Swami said, I will give you Viva, you go and do Viva. Same spelling. So take Padnamaskar. I took Padnamaskar. Swami turned for going towards ladies' side for darshan. I also got up and came out. So the touch of Swami and patting me and the words of Swami calmed down my nerves and my mind. I started thinking on the way back to hostel because I had to rush. 8 o'clock was my evaluation. What is the problem here? I have done this project and I have come to the conclusion in my project. This act is impeding the industrial growth in this country, and this act needs to be done away with. Now what have these people done? They have scrapped it. So effectively I have concluded right. They have done it. So with renewed enthusiasm I went and put up the last slide, which was a conclusion, in front of them. And then anyway, they didn't leave me so freely. I went through the 1 hour of grilling, but I was given an outstanding grade. I came back to hostel with full energy, enthusiasm. All my classmates were waiting. How was it? They were thinking that I would have gone through the grind. I said, no, excellent. I have done very well. I am sure I am going to get O grade. So they were stunned. How is this possible? So I went Evening went for darshan. I was seated right in the first row because Swami had blessed me in the morning. I had gone and done this Vaiva. I am going to get outstanding. So with all the thing, I went and sat in the front. Swami came, looked at me with a very sad face and told, Kyara, namam de diya. He said like this, Kyara, namam de diya. Now it's a very strong word in South Indian languages. So when you say namam de diya in South Indian languages, whether it's Telugu, Tamil, Kannada, any language you take, it is equivalent of saying Kyara topi pehna diya. It's very equivalent in Hindi is Kyara topi pehna diya mere ko. So Swami said Kyara namam de diya. So I was stunned. So immediately the system around Swami in those days is Swami is happy, everybody is happy with you. Swami is not happy, you are the villain there. So everybody around me were looking at me, what have I done to upset Swami? So I was taken aback. Swami didn't talk to me after that. I was ruminating that evening, night, next day, whole day. And slowly I went through the entire scene again. I was having a problem. I ran to Mandir. Swami put his hand on my shoulder. Swami said this statement. When came back, then it started dawning. Okay, I went and performed there. I did very well. They gave me O grade. I came back to hostel. When these classmates were asking, what did I say? I have done it very well. I have scored well. I will get O grade. There was only I. There was no, by Swami's grace I have done this. Swami's blessings I have done this. It was I. I mean, I didn't tell thumping my chest, but it was nothing less than that also. So I realized, okay, it was Bhagavan who has spoken through me. Here I am glorifying myself. The moment this reality dawned on me, Swami immediately started talking to me the next day. So every act has to be surrendered to Swami. And another great lesson, one day like this, sitting for darshan, Swami while coming out for darshan, he came, he asked me straight, how can you make everybody happy? He asked me. So I knelt down, I looked at Swami, knelt on my knees, I stood up, I looked at Swami, evening darshan in Parthi grounds. So I didn't know what to answer. I said, Swami asked, how can you make everybody happy? Then I folded my hands, I just stretched my hand like that, only Swami has to guide. Swami said, it's not possible to make everybody happy in life. It's not possible. Then Swami continued, if you have a house, you have a tap in the kitchen, you have a tap in the bathroom, you have a tap in the wash basin. When you want water in those taps, what do? Do you give independent water connection for each of these taps? I said, no, Swami. Swami said, what happens? That is an overhead tank. You fill the overhead tank, and from the overhead tank, all these taps are connected. And as long as there is water in the overhead tanks, these taps will give you water. I said, yes, Swami. Similarly in life, Swami said, Swami is the overhead tank. You make Swami happy. All the human beings you see in life are like taps. If Swami is happy with you, all of them will be happy. So you focus on making Swami happy, not focusing on making others happy. Very beautiful lesson. I took Swami's Padamska. Moving on, this will be the final experience in my student days. After this, I'll go to my corporate. So, having taken you through all these things, there was a convocation drama which was being enacted in the year 1991. Now, we are all part of it. Those days, when you say convocation drama, the drama was effectively directed by Swami. Even though there was a director, a senior brother, Swami directed scene by scene, spent time watching rehearsals, each scene 50 times or even more. Boring for us itself. Swami used to see it so many times before it was enacted on 22nd or 23rd, depending on whichever date was done, of November. So that year, Swami, I was in the third scene. The first scene and second scene got disproportionate attention from Swami. Swami used to call them for an interview room every day, spend with them 1 hour, 1.5 hours. God only knows what they did inside. But the third scene boys never got the chance. So I was really waiting with so much pangs for 1.5 months. When will we get a chance to enter the interview room to listen to what Swami is talking? But it never happened. One of the greatest miracles in Prashanti Nilayam is the interview room is itself a miracle. Those of you who have had an opportunity, a blessing to enter there, by itself, it can comfortably sit 10 people, 12 people with Swami in the chair. But history has shown there have been 60, 70, 80 people sitting inside without anybody getting any leg cramps or blood clot or anything like that. DVT, deep vein thrombosis, all those problems didn't exist. Where 10 people can sit comfortably, 80 people will sit, not for 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 2 hours, 2.5 hours, and walk out. However fat they are, however sick they are. Now, one final day, Swami called the third scene also. So already first 2 scene boys are there, third scene boys. We were numbering more than 65, 70. I was seated against the wall. Swami was seated in the other corner in the chair. Swami was reading the letters. Start Chayandi. So we were in a low tone talking our dialogues, rehearsal in front of Swami, and it went on. So my dialogue was only one word. What do you mean, young man? That was the only dialogue I had in the entire drama. So Swami, the entire rehearsal went on. After 25, maybe 45 minutes or 1 hour, Swami looked at all of us. By then, all the time he was reading letters. One hour he looked straight at me. What dialogue did you speak? I didn't hear you speak. Now, this was the last gate of the floodgate in the dam. As it is, I was seating with 1.5 months, we didn't get a chance to come in. Here, having come in, I have one word. And this Swami is saying he has not heard. When he asked in such a loving tone, I started crying. So Swami made way, came near me. My hair will always fall in front. So he pushed my hair back. He wiped my sweat. He wiped my tears. What is your dialogue you tell? I said, what do you mean, young man? Swami laughed at me. But only this much. Then Swami told the senior brother who was directing, give him a good role. And Swami pressed my head and went. So I was so happy Swami spoke to me, that was more than enough. But what happened after that was beyond my comprehension. This elder brother was a genius. If at all somebody needs to have an idea of what is the capabilities of a Sai student, he was a poster boy, a man who could do everything. He could dance, he could sing, he could play cricket, he could do yogasanas, he could direct dramas. I mean, you name it, he was everywhere. So he, after morning darshan, while we were walking, he devised a new scheme. On the way itself, he called me as soon as he went to hostel. He had made a scene within a scene. So third scene, he kept it as it is. He created a scene within the scene where my role, while the entire stage will freeze and everybody is standing, I have to make a very exaggerated, dramatic entrance with the entire spotlight on me and walk from this end of the stage to the other end of the stage and talking in a very haughty, very arrogant manner, which was totally different from my personality. I begged him. I said, sir, I can't do this role. He said, no, you can do. Then these are all seasoned veterans with Swami. They know how to handle people like me. He said, don't cry like a baby. Go and practice. Tomorrow morning Swami is coming. Go. Swami has told, I can't change it. Swami has told me to give you a big role. I have given you, go. So I was petrified. And as situation have it, Swami came for rehearsal very next day. When he came for rehearsal, the first scene went, second scene went. Third scene, my knees were knocking. Imagine Swami is seated there. I have to act in exaggerated manner. But I was standing behind in the stage in our institute auditorium. So when the third scene started, the cue was going to come to me that I have to enter within another 1 minute. With all the experience I narrated to you, I just concocted a prayer on the spot. I closed my eyes, folded my hands and prayed to Swami. Swami, you are acting through me. You are sitting and seeing from there. You are acting, you are seeing. Because you are acting and you are seeing, you should be happy with it. And because you are happy, everybody here should be happy with it. this I said in very simple English. I didn't use any Sanskrit or anything. I did in very simple English. I started acting the scene, and as I went so much into the scene in the dramatic way, I forgot that I was walking towards the D section, where you topple and fall down. And I was coming towards the edge with all that haughtiness. Swami, I had to shout, hey, Lopluvalu. So, as it is, it was difficult for me to act. Added to this one command from Swami, I somehow dragged myself to the other end of the stage, and I thought, the scene is over, my God, it must have been very pathetic. But what happened was a great miracle. Swami wanted to give Padamaskar to all of us. Swami called all of us. I went and right at the end, I didn't want to show my face. I was in the end. So Swami searched for me, came, hey, Swami, so always call me by my full name. He'll call me always Venkatesh Prasad only. Full name used to call me. He said, Venkatesh Prasad, excellent acting. Swami did it so dramatically. For a minute I thought Swami is pulling my leg. I looked at Swami. Swami said, excellent acting, very good acting. And he turned around all the VIPs who were there. How good was acting? They also in chorus, yes, Swami, very good acting. Then he patted my back, he touched my head, and he went. And the then Vice Chancellor came, shook my hands, patted my back, excellent acting. The then Registrar came, shook my... Imagine where 70 of us are there, mine was a 1 minute scene, which had gone. Everybody... I was stunned. What is this? What did I do that these people are? So I started getting different doubts. Then I came out. Then I realized the power of the prayer. When I dedicated to Swami and say, Swami, you should be happy. Because you are happy, everybody should be happy. And what happened months after that was nothing sort of miracle. Extempore, all the boys said, brother, please act the scene. So I had to give performances near outside dining hall, near the wash basin, in cricket field. So apart from my rehearsals, I did another 30-40 rehearsals for the boys. So it became a second nature for me. And finally we enacted on the day. President R. Venkatraman was at the time. He was the chief guest. So when you dedicate and do it to Swami for Swami's satisfaction, the entire world becomes happy. So these were some of the lessons. Now with these lessons, when I stepped out onto the corporate world, I'll quickly narrate few instances. The first was what Parikshit was referring to, what then President Abdul Kalam ji narrated. I didn't know how this message went to him. It's a mystery to me. See, this happened because I was involved in a turnaround of a unit. I was given free hand to change anybody I want and do whatever I want. But I didn't change even one person. With the same team, we did a turnaround. Within a matter of 18 months, we became profitable. We declared dividend, everything. In this entire transition, there was one individual, a senior person who was more than 60 years old. He had retired. And I had recruited a youngster as his replacement. But I understood his situation. His daughter was yet to get married. And his son had just finished his engineering and he was not yet settled in life. So he needed the job and the salary very badly to enable his daughter getting married, supporting the family. So I understood the scene. So what I did, I moved him away from the operational role, made him like a My Man Friday for me in the organization, and consolidated his pay. Whatever salary he was getting, as you all know, as salary earners, there will be a TDS deduction, this, that. So once he is not in the role, I make him a consultant. I just consolidated his entire pay, gave him the lump sum without deducting or reducing anything, even though he is retired. He was very happy and life went on. After 1.5 years, one day, when he had brought some checks for my signature, I was signing. Very calm voice, he told me, Sir, you have behaved in this manner because you are Baba's student. When he said that, I stopped signing. I turned, because tears came to my eyes. I turned to the side, looked at my computer. Because as a habit to this day, I never talk about Swami to my colleagues, my office, even of 37, 38 years. Because I come from a background where Swami has told us, when you are in an environment or in a family or in circumstances where people don't know about Swami, it's not necessary to go about propagating Swami to them. Swami said, when you have jewels in your house, you don't go around opening the tijori and showing the jewels to every passerby on the road or everybody who enters your house. It is meant only for your sight and your family members, for them also only on some occasions. What you have is known only to you. So I follow this principle. I have never told Swami's name, I am a Swami student, nothing. But that man, and after he left, the words Swami used to tell us as student came to my ears. Swami used to always tell us when we were students, 1,000 eyes are watching you. 1,000 ears are listening to you or hearing to you. So don't forget your ABC, Swami used to say. And what was the ABC? Always be careful. This is the instruction Swami used to give us students in those days. 1,000 eyes are watching you, 1,000 ears are hearing you. Don't forget your ABC. Always be careful. So I remembered this and tears came to my eyes. So as a Sai student, that was one experience post my qualification. Second was, while I was working in Singapore, this was while I was working in India, I was part of a group and they had started a new project, and there are only two manufacturers of this particular item. It was a textile machinery component in India. One of the company is from Bombay, our competitor, which was quite big in India in those days. The other one was this new project started by the group where I was working down in South. Now, this company, which is there in Bombay, they were tying up with the world number one, who were based out of US in those days, 1996. 1996, they were tying up with them. So, if this tie-up were to happen, this entire project will go for a 6. The investments which have been made, 100 crores or more, it's a big amount in those days. Even today, 100 crores is big. Way back in 96, it was a very big amount. And it will go. So, the management, the chairman and managing director, in a group where there are 6,000 employees, they selected me, a youngster who is 26-year-old. They told, we will somehow, I was called to the chairman's office. The chairman told me, I will ensure that somehow you get an audience with the American company's president. It's your best effort or something which will turn away the collaboration from the Bombay company to us. If it goes there, we will have to close this project. So it's all up to you. This is the only instruction he gave me. He didn't give me any technical details, nothing. And I was supposed to leave to US within 10 days. And within the 10 days, I had to go to the embassy. A 26-year-old guy getting an American visa in 1996 was not an easy thing when the entire country was going to US for further studies. So the US embassy people look at you with a very, very, double tinted glass as to what you are up to. And added to that, I didn't have any invitation letter, because the person who is going to sign a collaboration with the Bombay-based company is not inviting somebody to come and waste his time. So I had to go in a different visa category. Against all odds, I got the visa, got onto the flight, went and landed. This was in Dayton, Ohio. The first 2 days, the president didn't give time. Instead, his office people took me to, there is a very beautiful aircraft museum in Dayton. Incidentally, Wright brothers hail from Dayton, Ohio. So that's a beautiful 100-acre museum. And so they took me around everything 2 days. And third day, I got a chance to enter their office. So the American president, he came. He didn't expect the guy who is going to present the case to him is a 26-year-old kid for such a serious issue. And he looked at me a little bit doubtfully. I had 40 transparencies. This was before laptops and PowerPoints and things like that. You have to make transparencies and you have to put in overhead OHT, and display it on the screen. So he saw me having some 40-50. He told me, young man, I give you 10 minutes. He sat down. I used my Brahmastra, which I used as a student. I prayed to Swami. I said, Swami, it's you who is presenting. It's you who is sitting there as a president and listening to me. You are presenting, you are listening, so you should be happy with what you are doing. Because you are happy, everybody here should be happy. I used the Brahmastra and started. What was a 10-minute presentation? Next 90 minutes, nobody touched me. The entire board sat and listened to me with apt attention, including the president. At the end of 90 minutes, to cut the story short, he looked at me with a very fatherly love. He had developed such an affinity towards me within the 90 minutes. And then at the end of it, he just told me one thing. I heard from my team that you have not been having food. What is the problem? I said, sir, I am a vegetarian. So vegetarian means what? So many vegetables are there. No, sir. Vegetarian in India is different from eating vegetables in US. He said, would you like to have Indian food? He asked me. I said, yes, come. So he took me, he drove the car himself. I understood the enormity of his gesture only later on American roads in 1996. He drove for 2 hours. So equivalent of traveling some 300, 400 kilometers in our country to go to an Indian restaurant on the highway, because Ohio is a Midwestern state. I'm talking 96. Not much Indian. It's not East Coast or West Coast. So one Indian restaurant on the highway, we went there, entered, and what a pleasant surprise. It was a Krishna Janmashtami. In all my tension and worries, I had forgotten that was a Krishna Janmashtami. It was run by Indians, and they had made it as an open house. Gulab jamuns were there and everything was there. So I went there. I had the opportunity to feast, and I had the good fortune to explain to the American what each dish is about, everything. We had a gala 2-hour lunch. At the end of the lunch, he said, you ask your chairman to come, we'll sign the collaboration deal. That's all. And I frantically called. My chairman, anticipating that, was already had parked himself in New York. He took the flight and came to Dayton, and the deal, what this Bombay company would have got, it came to us, and it went ahead very smoothly. So this was another corporate experience when you dedicate it to Swami. Third one was much more very, very intriguing. I was living in Singapore, and very tight schedule, because I was heading an organization in Singapore. I was on the board of a company in US. I had to travel to China every month for 1 week, 10 days. I had to go to Switzerland because my chairman sits there every quarter. So in a month, 21 days, I was traveling. I didn't know when was morning, when was night, because different time zones, different countries, everything. So one of the visits to Switzerland, my chairman in the board meeting, he asked me everything. We were doing exceptionally well, because the business by Swami's grace had grown from where I had joined to what it was. Some 10-12 times I had increased it. So we were doing extremely well. This gentleman, my chairman, was very renowned economist. He was on the board of Credit Suisse of Switzerland. So he told me, what do you think about Myanmar, Burma? It was unconnected to me. I said, I don't know much about Burma, Myanmar. He said, no, I think we can do business there. You do some research. As is my personality, I just took it from my left ear, left it with the right ear, finished my board meeting, came back. When person doesn't have time to breathe, who is going to think about Burma and all? So after 3 months, I went for the next board meeting. I had totally forgotten. Now, it was a Swiss gentleman. They tell once and they expect you to. So next board meeting asked, there is no report on Myanmar, he asked me. So then I realized, oh my God. I said, no, I didn't have time. He said, okay, after this board meeting is over, you just make a quick plan for a trip to Myanmar, and tomorrow we'll extend the board meeting again and let us discuss. Those were the days there was no Google, no Gemini, no Chat GPT, nothing. Sitting in Switzerland, where will I sit and make a plan for going to Myanmar? So still I made frantic phone calls here and there, made a tentative plan for 3 days, went next day to him. He said, what is this? How can you build a business by 3-day visit? Make it a 10-day visit. I was not at all for it. I was totally mental blocked. I said, what a waste of time. I said, okay. Can't say anything to the chairman. I said, okay, I'll plan for 10 days. He said, don't come next board meeting without a detailed report on what you have done for the 10 days in Myanmar, and add it for good measure. Don't come 1 week before coming here. Go this month itself. So you have 3 months to do everything before you meet me again. So it was a command of the chairman. I couldn't do. Came back, booked a ticket. I was totally against. Went to the airport in Singapore, sitting, which has never happened before, never happened after that also. In a country like Singapore, the Myanmar flight was cancelled, reflecting my mindset. Morning I went and sat at 10 o'clock, the flight was cancelled. They said, what is this? When? They said, there is an afternoon flight at 2 o'clock. I was too lazy to go back home. I sat in the airport, started doing my work. I started calling some Sai devotees. I was very active in Sai Center there. I used to conduct study circle every week there. So I called some side devotees. So what is this on a weekday? They have never seen me call them in the morning. What are you doing? They asked. No, I am in the airport. Why? One of the side devotees. I said, I am going to Myanmar. Myanmar? Yes. He said, just casually, why don't you call that brother? He has some contact there. This was unsolicited advice. I didn't ask for it. But he gave somebody. So I had time to kill. So I called the other brother whose name was given. And sure enough, he said, he gave me a name and number. If you need anything, you call in Myanmar. Okay, I noted it down, scribbled it down somewhere, went and landed. Whatever research I had to do with my blocked mind, negative mentality, I finished it one day, came to a conclusion, kuch nahi hoga idhar, I have nothing to do here. My dilemma was, I had 10 days more. What am I going to do here for next 10 days? So, I didn't know what to do. I was sitting in my hotel. Then I remembered this number and name given to me. I just called this number. The phone was picked up, some puja was going on in the background, some bell noise. So I said, is so-and-so there? He said, yes, I am speaking here. I said, no, I got your reference from so-and-so in Singapore. I have come here. He said, okay, you come tomorrow morning at 10 o'clock. I said, fine. Where do I come? You get into any cab and tell my name, they'll bring you. This was the instruction he gave. I didn't believe and he disconnected the phone. So I have only his name. And he is expecting me, and Yangon is a big city. It's not by any, maybe not as big as Bombay, but still, it is a big city. And he just told, you tell my name to the cab driver, he'll bring you. So who is this guy who is... So next day morning, very hesitatingly came down. It was a 5-star hotel, concierge was there. He asked me, sir, because everybody speaks in Burmese. So he asked me, can I help you? I said, I have to go somewhere. Yes, please tell me, I'll arrange a cab. I said, you call the cab. He called, but where to go, he asked me. I said, I have to meet this man. Okay, sir, address. You tell the cab driver, he may know. I had nothing else. So concierge looked at me, he thought a crazy foreigner. So he went to the cab driver, he spoke in Burmese. He told, and the cab driver smiling, he said, come. I thought, is this some kind of a scam or what? So I went, sat in. So I tried asking him in English. Obviously, he cannot answer. He just told, I take you, that's all. He entered a place like how it will be in Bombay, Bulleshwar kind of area. Crowded, thickly populated, a typical Indian scenario where there are shops down, people living in the first floor, second floor. So, jam-packed, there was, animals, human beings, everybody jostling for space in a narrow lane. So where have I come? So I went in and then he stopped in front of a shop which was dealing in all jadi butiya, this herbal things, powders. I saw huge glass jars filled with so many powders. So I thought there's some mistake. I said, showed the name, this name. He gestured to me, this is the place you go in. I thought, kidhar aa gaya abhi? I got down and I walked into this shop. I saw one person sitting. I said, I come to meet. He said, you are the man who called me yesterday? I said, yes, come. He took me inside to his house on the first floor. Very quickly, he was a man staying alone. He was a businessman, everything. And he took charge of my life. For want of time, I'm just going. He took charge of my life from that moment. He decided whom I am going to meet, when I am going to meet, but I had to have my lunch and dinner with him. So my day was like this. I report to him after my breakfast. He will sit with me for 5 minutes. I'll brief him. He will give me a quick brief whom I am going to meet in the morning session. I'll go and meet who's who of Myanmar. I'll finish the meeting, but they will close the meeting at 12 sharp. Even if I want to talk, they will not talk. He is waiting for you for lunch. You please carry on. So they'll close. I'll get up. I'll come here. I'll debrief with him. Tell him whom I met, whatever. And then after lunch, he will send me to next meeting. I'll go there. And that also in his car. He had a huge Mitsubishi SUV. And the beauty is, when I sat in the car with the driver, the police will stop all other vehicles and this will be allowed. So I was wondering, what is happening? I have never seen this man. So I asked that boy who was driving, he could speak a little bit English. Why is the police stopping everybody else and allowing our vehicle? He said, no, the person whom I am meeting, his car will be used by various dignitaries who come to Myanmar. So the police fellow never knows who is inside. So anytime this car comes on the road, they'll make way for this car to go. So, like a VIP on Yangon, I was going everything. And again, cutting the long story short, at the peak of my visits of various business people I met, I went and met the Defense Minister of Myanmar. I went and met the Defense Minister of Myanmar. I spent time with him, talking about the business opportunities, everything. And evenings were spent feeding pigeons in his house, in his terrace, going to the temples where I was welcomed with the mala which was adorned on the deity. It was given, we are given a royal welcome into the temples, Indian temple. So I was thinking, something is happening here. A person whom I don't know, I come, he doesn't know. He is not expecting anything commercial thing from me. It was very clear. He was not interested in anything commercial from me. It was as if he took charge of my life. So all the 9 days went like that. The last day came, I was to take the flight. In between, I had seen his entire house. I have seen the bedroom where his Buddhist monk used to live, his Guruji, whom you used to say used to levitate, and all those things. So I knew whatever has to be known about him. I knew everything. So on the last day, he said, tomorrow you don't have breakfast in the hotel. You check out, you come. You have never had breakfast with me. Imagine, I had 10 lunches with him, 10 dinners with him. So you have never had breakfast with me. You come, we'll have breakfast together tomorrow. We'll sit and talk. Then you go to airport straight from here. So by then I realized it was like trying to explain something to Swami. With this gentleman, you just followed what he said. So I packed my bags, came, still in the background of my mind, what is happening? What is the background of all these things? So we had a breakfast and we had the entire morning with us. We were chatting very calmly on various matters. And that day, he took me to the one room in his house which I had not taken till that day. It was a 3-storied building. Imagine, I have seen everything. When I can go to the terrace to feed the pigeons, you can know that I have seen everything there. So this one room when he took in, it was a huge hall kind of thing. It was his prayer hall. Typical Indian prayer hall with photos from left side of the wall going the opposite walls, and this kind of a scenario with all the deities and gods you can imagine. Everything is there. All the vigrahas are there. Everything. And in all this maze of photos I was looking, sure enough, Swami's photo was there. So the first word came to my mind is, my presence goes before thee. I thought, okay, ab samjha. This man, why he is, it is the link of Swami which has pulled me to him. And so I kept quiet. Very innocently I asked him. I didn't tell him I am Swami's devotee, student, all those. So how do you have this photo? I asked him. This Baba's photo. Oh, that photo? He said, okay. This man was an Indian origin man, but they are Burmese. They have been staying for generations there. Somewhere in 79 or 80, he had undertaken pilgrimage of India. Starting from Himalayas, he was going to Kashi, Haridwar, Rishikesh, Jagannath Puri, everything. And he was on his way to Madurai, Meenakshi, and then Kanyakumari, Trivandrum. So in between, he halted in Brindavan, having heard about Baba. So Swami was there in Brindavan, it seems. He came. So those days, the old Tri Brindavan building was Tri Brindavan was not there. The older building was there. And Swami used to accept garlands. So he bought huge garland, a tray full of fruits. And by his luck would have it, Swami had finished the morning darshan. But since he was a man on a mission, he was going and he didn't have time to stay there. He went and stood outside Swami's gate in Brindavan. Knowing fully well, Swami has completed his darshan. He stood with the garland and fruits, everything. He told me, I waited for 1 hour. Baba came out. I garlanded him. He accepted the garland. He accepted the tray of fruits. He gave to the attendant, everything. I took his padamaskar. He created vibhuti, gave to me. I took his blessings. I came out. The shop, that fellow was selling this photo. As a memory of the visit, I took the photo and came. I framed and kept. That was enough for me, because for a Sai student, even when he has to go to an unknown country where he doesn't want to go, Swami ensures that he is there well before, anticipating my student will come 20 years or 25 years hence, having somebody ready there who was to act as an instrument to make me see the entire thing and give me enough material. Forget about preparing a report. I could have written a book on Myanmar. I had so much data on hand. So with all those things, I took leave of him and I came back to Singapore. And the beauty of it is, after that, I never contacted him, neither he contacted me. It was as if we were destined to meet only for that visit. So this was the one more experience of corporate and everything. Since I'm running out of time, I'll stop with this here. But only one thing I would like to leave. This I keep sharing with many people. The current, since I am teaching for youngsters these days, we are also used to now using Google Gemini, Chat GPT, artificial intelligence, AI. We keep saying Alexa, Siri, whatever it is. So I always tell the students with whom I interact, imagine if there is something which is much more accessible than this, what will you do? They said, sir, we can surely use it. I said that something more is Swami, I used to say. It's much more easy to access Swami than to access Siri, Alexa, or Gemini, or anything else, Chat GPT, or whatever. Because Swami is like this. And Swami can talk to us in any form. He can talk to us through a stranger, he can talk to us through a book, he can talk to us through a movie, he can talk to us through a song, he can talk to us through a cricket match, he can talk to us through a TV serial, to a billboard, advertising board. It is only a question of we getting tuned in. It is, I always tell them, it is like a FM radio station. If you are tuned in to the right frequency, music plays. If you are not tuned into the right frequency, there is a static and there is a cacophony. But the art is like tuning into the right music station in the right frequency. And also to understand in today's world where all of us use computers, Swami is like the wallpaper in a Windows PC. You have a wallpaper, you work on whatever website you want, whatever apps you want. But once you finish working on the website or the app, when you minimize, what remains is the wallpaper. So we need to remember Swami like how a Windows PC or Android phone, or for that matter Apple phone, has the wallpaper, and keep Swami as a permanent fixture in our mind. So with these few words, I would just like to end with my very favorite quote, which has been my favorite since my student days. The greatest adventure in life is to seek God. The greatest romance is to love God. The greatest achievement is to realize God. Jai Sai Ram.
Govinda Krishna Jai, Gopala Krishna Jai, Gopala Bala Bala Radha Krishna Jai, Govinda Krishna Jai, Gopala Krishna Jai, Gopala Bala Bala Radha Krishna Jai, Krishna Jai, Krishna Jai, Krishna Jai, Krishna 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 Jai. Kapitamala Hari Pyari Mali Meera Manavikar Madana Mohana Muralidhar Krishna Jai. Madana Mohana Muralidhar Krishna Jai. Krishna Jai, Krishna Jai, Krishna 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 Jai. Radha Krishna Jai, Bala Krishna 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 Jai. Krishna Jai, Radha Krishna Jai, Radha Krishna Jai, Bala Krishna Krishna Jai. Govinda Krishna Jai, Gopala Krishna Jai, Gopala Bala Bala Krishna Jai. Govinda
Om Sri Sai Ram. Thanks a lot, Venkatesh Prasad brother, for coming all the way from Bangalore and helping us understand key lessons and experiences over the course of the last 40 plus years you have spent with Bhagawan, right from your grandfather's time. How Bhagawan entered your families through your grandfather and taught you invaluable lessons at a very early age. And I would like to summarize 2 or 3 of them. Across all the stories which brother explained, right from the bike incident to the festival visit where he went to his home, or even a movie at a relative's house, right? It repeatedly showed Swami's instructions, however seemingly small or it could be very, very trivial in our minds, carries a very, very protective and an important lesson that true devotion, whether it is in small acts or bigger acts, requires deep conviction and belief in Bhagavan, right? I think that embodied what brother had told us, that bhakti or that one-pointed devotion to Swami flows through following Swami's instructions. The second is, Swami is the silent witness and he is omnipresent. Right from the Suprabhatam episode, he talked about the dichotomy of when Swami is an eternal witness vis-a-vis, not a blade of grass will move unless his will. Swami's attention and Swami's focus is always there on us through different thousands of eyes and ears looking at us, and that's why ABC, which we are taught in Balvikas, always be careful, comes into play. The third is, we cannot please everyone, but if we please Swami, we get the world, right? So the overhead tank and the tap analogy, which Bhagavan beautifully explained to brother, really helps us, because in today's world where everybody is seeking external validation and trying to get attention, right? Or attention span people talk about, or attention seeking behavior in today's algorithmic driven world, it's very difficult for us to focus and spend time in a hustling kind of environment like Mumbai. And this is where this particular advice really helps us. So I thank brother to sharing his experience, and if I have to summarize, Swami talks about in all his discourses of this framework and devotion of you start with Salokyam, that is friendship with God. Then you move to Sarupyam. From Sarupyam, you finally merge in Swami, right? Sayujyam. This entire experiences which brother shared, you can really bucket it from his adolescent stages, how they craved for Swami's attention, right? That physical proximity, and as gradually brother explained, you move to that higher plane where you see Swami in everyone and reach that ultimate stage like Radha did of merging in Krishna. With that, we would like to felicitate brother. I would call upon Shiv Kumar brother, who is the spiritual coordinator of Chembur Samiti, if he is there. Shiv Kumar brother, yeah, to felicitate brother Venkatesh Prasad. In fact, brother Shiv Kumar is his own classmate, and it's a great privilege for us. Please, brother.
तत्सत् श्री नारायण तो पुरुषोत्तम गुरु तो सिद्ध
बुद्ध तू स्कंद विनायक सविता पावक तू सविता पावक तू ब्रह्ममग्ध तू यवशक्ति तू येषु पिता प्रभु तू रुद्र विष्णु तू राम कृष्ण तू रहीमताओ तू रहीमताओ तू वासुदेव गो विश्वरूप तू चिदानंद हरि तू अद्वितीय तू अकाल निर्भय आत्मलिंग शिव तू आत्मलिंग शिव तू आत्मलिंग शिव तू असतो मा सद्गमय तमसो मा ज्योतिर्गमय मृत्योर्मा अमृतं गमय शांति 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 ओम जय जगदीश हरे स्वामी सत्य साई हरे भक्त जना संरक्षक भक्त जना संरक्षक पति महेश्वरा ओम जय जगदीश हरे शशिवदना श्रीकरा सर्वा प्राणपदे स्वामी सर्वा प्राणपदे आश्रित कल्पलतिका आश्रित कल्पलतिका आपदानवा ओम जय जगदीश हरे माता-पिता गुरुदैवं मह्यन्तयो नीवे स्वामी मह्यन्तयो नीवे नाद ब्रह्म जगन्नाथ नाद ब्रह्म जगन्नाथ नागेन्द्र शयना ओम जय जगदीश हरे ओंकार रूप शिव साई महादेवा सत्य साई महादेवा मंगल आरती अमृतो मंगल आरती अमृतो मंगल गिरिधारी ओम जय जगदीश हरे नारायण नारायण ओम सत्य नारायण 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 ओम सत्य नारायण नारायण ओम सत्य नारायण नारायण ओम जय सद्गुरुदेवा नारायण नारायण ओम सत्य नारायण 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 ओम सत्य नारायण नारायण ओम सत्य नारायण नारायण ओम जय सद्गुरुदेवा नारायण नारायण ओम सत्य नारायण 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 ओम सत्य नारायण नारायण ओम सत्य नारायण नारायण समस्तलोका सुखिनो भवन्तु समस्तलोका सुखिनो भवन्तु समस्तलोका सुखिनो भवन्तु शान्ति शान्ति शान्ति। जय बोलो भगवान श्री सत्य साई बाबा जी की जय। परमं पवित्रं बाबा विभूतिं परमं विचित्रं लीला विभूतिं परमार्थनिष्ठार्थ मोक्ष प्रदातं बाबा विभूतिं इदमाश्रयामि। परमं पवित्रं बाबा विभूतिं परमं विचित्रं लीला विभूतिं परमार्थनिष्ठार्थ मोक्ष प्रदातं बाबा विभूतिं इदमाश्रयामि। परमं पवित्रं बाबा विभूतिं परमं विचित्रं लीला विभूतिं परमार्थनिष्ठार्थ मोक्ष प्रदातं बाबा विभूतिं इदमाश्रयामि। बाबा विभूतिं इदमाश्रयामि। साई विभूतिं इदमाश्रयामि।